Yeah. So first off, just want to thank all the subscribers. Appreciate you guys. Much love. Today, what I do is I want to do something a little different. So I want to show you guys the journey that I had as a special needs father. So there's different obstacles and there's different events that happened in my life that really made me stronger, made me who I am today. So let's get into that. So the first thing I want to show you is this is my daughter when she was about 9 months old. You can see she had like a little feather. We used to call it a little feather actually, but that feather was something called an encephalocell. And what that was is that was that right there. It looked like a pimple, right? And it fluctuated in size. So basically, what happened was when she was in the womb, her skull didn't. Oh my bad. Her skull didn't really attach all the way. So there was a little area that was left exposed. And what happened is a piece of skin grew over that. And you know, brain fluid would basically go in and out. So that shit would fluctuate in size. And yeah, the doctor said it was pretty dangerous because if that shit ever popped, if she ever had an accident, then brain fluid could go everywhere. It could be fatal. So they had to operate on her. And when she was born, we did see that there were some challenges with her. She was always crying, like always crying, and we were wondering what's happening, what's happening. Finally, we found out that the pressure of all of that, um, just on one part of her head, was really a lot for her. So we definitely had to, we had to make a decision, and we decided to go ahead and move forward with the procedure. So we had it removed, and there it is. There, that's after the surgery. So after the surgery, they took out part of her brain. She already had developmental delays. She was born with microcephaly and epilepsy. Unfortunately, what this did is this triggered seizures. So she also has, I didn't mean epilepsy. She got epilepsy after this. Before that, she had cerebral palsy. Yeah. So this triggered seizures. She ended up having epilepsy. And she had to learn everything all over again, right? So I'm going to show you guys some of the things that we had to go through. So this is her learning how to crawl. So she wasn't like normal children. I shouldn't really say normal, but she wasn't like the majority of other children where you put them on the ground and they want to move. Like if you put her on the ground, she would just lay there. So we had to teach her everything little by little, right? And that's her like wanting to just lay down, but she had great therapists that were helping her. So yeah, she had to learn how to crawl. Then after that, let me fast forward a little bit. That's the office. We did a lot of hand over hand. That's Mohammed, great therapist right there. So at first, this was a trip because I didn't think nothing was happening. I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Like just grabbing her hand and moving it. Like I was ignorant. You know what I mean? I was like, how is that going to help her? They're doing it for her. But what I didn't understand is there's muscle memory, right? So they're teaching her how to do everything. And she has to learn little by little. So this is her learning all that right there. She had to learn that. And the next stage she had to learn was that's her learning to grasp and everything. She had to learn how I'm telling you everything. This was a trip. She had to learn how to walk. So they put a harness on her. And you could see she's not comfortable. And honestly, a lot of my inspiration comes from my daughter, from all my kids. But my youngest daughter, her name's Aslana. What really gets me about her is that a lot of things for her aren't comfortable. There's a lot of things in her life that she doesn't want to do, but she does them anyway because it's necessary for growth. And I always say she taught me way more than I could ever teach her. You know what I mean? So, because that's what life is. Things are going to be uncomfortable at times. Things are going to be scary. Things are going to be nerve-wracking. But most of the times when they're necessary for growth. So that's what I learned from my daughter. I always say she taught me more than I could ever teach her. So yeah, that's her learning how to walk. Like I said, muscle memory. One by one, step by step. She had to learn everything all over again. Yeah, so she's learning the movement right there. And look at right there, she was nervous, like, whoa, what the fuck is happening? But she has to like trust in herself. That's another thing. She always has to trust in herself, and she taught me that too, low key. So let's move it up a little bit. This is one of the hardest parts of my life ever. She was very sick at this time. We had to put a G tube in her, right? So, but this showed me her strength also. She wasn't defeated by this, although I nearly was. She wasn't. Uh, she brings me a lot of strength, and this is something that I attribute to because to my time in YA, because in YA you can't run from anything. You have to meet your challenges head on, right? This was a difficult time in my life. Very difficult. There was nowhere to run. There was nowhere to hide. No one was going to help me. We had to all band together, me and my family, just us. And me, my wife, and my kids just band together. And we had to face this head on. You know what I mean? Nobody, people may have felt sorry for us, but there was really no one to turn to that was going to help us with this situation. So it's something that we had to do. And, made us stronger. That's her recovering. And another thing I want to say is, if I ever get any kind of criticism where people think, oh, you weren't this or you weren't that or you're living in the past. Nah, like I say, I use that for motivation. And I don't care. I'm never going to back myself up from 20 years ago. I'm never going to try to say, oh, you don't know me. Like, who, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. This is what matters to me. This is what I think makes me stronger right here. This is what makes me tough. Not that other shit. That other shit I always say. I was weak. I knew only one thing, and that's what I worked towards. You know what I mean? But now, this is what makes me strong. The fact that I deal with this, and I had to keep moving with a smile. And my daughter does the same thing. Like I said, my kids and my wife are my strength. All of them. They make me stronger. So to me, that's what I want to be known for. I got love for my homies. I always say that. I got love for them. But at the end of the day, when I'm gone, I'll be happy if people say, not even people, if my kids say he was a good dad. That's all that'll matter. You know what I mean? So yeah, this is her recovering. Her doctor visits. This is I'm going to show you guys when we have to change the G tube. This is something we have to do to make sure that she has to feed through to her stomach. So let me show you guys. So that's the G tube right there. That's my wife. What she's doing is she is going to take the water out. There's like a little balloon that anchors it down. You know what I mean? So she's taking out the water right now. Water is in the syringe. She has to make sure she cleans it. Everything has to be clean. Because there's an open wound right there. Look at that. Open wound. So my wife is going to clean it out. Make sure that there's nothing in there that can drop inside or anything like that. We have to move my daughter's hand. We had to film this for the doctor. Just show her that basically we know what we're doing. So there's milk coming out. That's my daughter's milk. It's clean again. So my wife is going to put in a new G tube. And she's putting in the water to anchor it down. Bam. Going to clean it a little bit more. And that's it. My baby girl gets fed. So there we go. And that's my daughter chilling. She just chills. This is a messed up part too. We had to film for her seizures. We had to film for the doctors. And with this one, what we had to do is we couldn't really interrupt too much. So we had to make sure she's safe. And that's what we're doing right here. You can see she's on her side. She's safe. She's in bed. We got the bed low to the ground to make sure we don't have like a bed like everyone else, because we don't want her to fall off. So we have to make sure she's low to the ground. So she's low to the ground here. And normally what we do is we try to comfort her. But we had to show the doctor what she goes through there. So right now you could see she's out of it. You could see, that's what always pains me, man, is that look in her eye when she's having it. Like there's no control. She doesn't know what to do. I hate that shit, man, for real. And at those points, I wish I can take that fucking pain, man. Like, give it to me. Like, I'll deal with it. You know what I mean? So that one's really rough, man. That's really the rough. We deal with that. Sometimes she goes a week without seizures. Sometimes every day. So it's fucked up, man. That's probably the hardest part of everything. And we're right there. We have to comfort her. So my wife is comforting, and letting her know she's okay. We have to make sure she's breathing. And now she's cool. She snapped out of her seizure. She's back to normal, but she's tired. And I wanted to show this because I wanted to show you guys that even though she has her challenges, right? Like she moves on. Don't feel sorry for her. You know what I mean? She's a fucking fighter, man. She's a warrior. And this is her. This is us at her. I'm gonna show you guys right now. This is my daughter playing baseball. She's in a special needs league. And this is us playing baseball. Sometimes she loves it. Sometimes she hates it. There's days where she's all excited. There's other days where she's like, nah. This is before COVID. Boom. She hit that. And we go walking over to first base. She gets excited when she hits it. She hates playing in the outfield, though. So, yeah, that's her taking her walk over. And, yeah, that's a life of a special needs parent right there. A little bit of it. And they vary. You know, not every special needs parent has the same situation. Some are challenges are different than others. There are always challenges, but at the same time, you know, we learn so much. And I'm truly feel like it's a gift for me to be able to be strong enough to deal with it. Like it tests me to my limits often, where I find out how strong I am. How tough are you? You know what I mean? That's the real test of toughness. All that other shit, like I talk about, I don't even talk about it in a glamorizing way. You know what I mean? That's why I want people to know. I don't talk about that shit because he says, sorry about that. I don't talk about that shit to say like, oh, I was this hardcore chingon guy. Like, no, I want to show people what happened in the past, and I want to prevent that from happening to youngsters now, right? But to me, this shit right here, raising a family, that's what makes you tough. You know what I mean? The fact that you could get up every day, get knocked down, and come back. That's what makes you strong. And for me, my family's my source of strength. That's what defines me. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to share that. Appreciate everybody. Much love. And with that, we out. Peace.